Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long Boys Blues, 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games, and sometimes friends. But Long Boys Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Lawn Boys Post 1975, and welcome to another product overview. Not system overview, product overview. I got it right this time, even if I can't say the word correctly. You've read the title and you've seen the thumbnail, and I very kindly got sent one of these by my friend, and it is a My Arcade, retro arcade microplay. It got such a long naming convention of Contra, and it is the actual arcade ROM. Now this was released last year and I did not know it was a thing, and my mate who had some outstanding Amazon credit and got me it said I didn't know it was a thing, being him not knowing it was a thing as well, especially since it was from last year. And also there is a version of it that's in their standard pocket player form, which you could argue is a more traditional console, and probably a handheld console, and probably a better way to play a game like this, because the form factor means you're not going to have a serious proper gaming session on this, especially with the game as fiddly and as serious as Contra. But the form factor is why I like these. Now recently, this is their premium range, hence the fact that it's not NES ROMs, it's arcade ROMs. Previously, I had a look at one of these and I really rather quite liked it. It's Street Fighter, it's the arcade ROM. It's got a whole bunch of features and you know, options, and I'll show you a size comparison, but that's kind of a moot point because obviously this is a 6-button unit and it plays absolutely fine, but there are a couple of issues, a little bit screen tearing, a little funky with the sound. You're only really going to notice it if you've played a lot of Street Fighter, which is pretty much everyone, isn't it? But that was a video on a different system. But this would be their more traditional line of My Arcades, and it's obviously it's a NES. It's a NES on a chip system, and I do actually really like it. I'll show you a comparison there. Now these are about 15 to 20 pounds. I didn't pay for this. I did have a look, not to be ungrateful, but to see what it was. That Street Fighter was 80 quid. This clocks in at 69 pounds. Could you argue that's expensive? Possibly. Is that to do with the right of licensing the ROM because you've had to license it from Konami? And also, could that be because there's a bit more hardware in this than there is in this? Or could it be just good old-fashioned greed? Now, what I did notice was when I had a look on Amazon, the equivalent, this is just bubble because it's to hand to show you what it's like, but the equivalent with this, which is also can be connected by a cable, as can this, hence the fact, but I'll show you the box in a minute, co-op and verse. It definitely has a sticker on the box. It says includes Super Contra. I honestly don't know if this does, but there is nothing on the outside of the unit. So unless there's an option screen when we fire it up, I would have thought so, but I honestly don't know, because as I said, that other one proudly displays it on the front, this one doesn't. Of all the reviews I've checked a few, it's got really good reviews, but kind of it's one of those things which, is it expensive? Possibly, but as I always like to say, if it's your money and you're happy to spend it and it's on something that you will gain pleasure from, then it's not too expensive, is it? Now, what is Contra? Contra is a game from 1987 released in the arcades by Konami that may have not been the first true run and gun game, I honestly don't know, but was certainly the most polished of the time, and I believe, according to that bastion of truth that dares not lie, Wikipedia, it was the 4th most successful arcade game of that year. It was known as Greiser in other territories, such as this country, where I saw it once in the arcades but grew up playing the micro ports, as many people did in this country, released by Ocean, that were called Greiser. And it was obviously, I think when it was ported to the NES in 1988, that's where most people, that's where it gained notoriety. Most people were probably more familiar with that version than the arcade, and that version in Japan and certainly North America, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a NES bloke by all means, is far more successful and has the infamous Konami code, which lots of people credit with, pun intended, the ability to actually get the extra credits needed to finish the game. So in the game you are Bill and Lance. I believe that's from the people who made its love of sci-fi movies, and that refers to Bill Paxton and Lance Henriksen from Terminator and Aliens, and you have to take down the Red Falcon, who's decided he wants to take over the world and destroy it. So, much like everything in the 80s, the best way globally as a planet to tackle a threat that's, you know, extinction level is just send two blokes at it. So run and gun, left to right, collect weapons, jump, fiendishly difficult, shoot lots of stuff. Then you have into the screen stages. It's set in the year 2030 something, but I believe the NES version brings it back to current day, and it changes some of the locations from I don't know where to it's now set in a rainforest or the Amazon. I'm not sure why they did that, but yeah, we didn't really know much about it. We played the Ocean ports as a kid, and I loved them and I have gameplays of them. We kind of, at least for me, in the early days of YouTube, and then my early days of emulation, which would have been before that, but when I was playing Nesticore, it's in my memories of NES video, on a Pentium 166. That's when I first got to play Contra, because I remember playing it on the Spectrum and knowing that that was essentially Greiser, based on the artwork, because the artwork is done by Bob Wakelin, rest in peace, legendary artist from the 80s, and both the characters on the front are essentially two different depictions of Arnold Schwarzenegger from different poses in Predator, but the xenomorph behind it, which is clearly based on a xenomorph, is taken from the original arcade artwork. And then also there was an amazing pamphlet flyer for it where it was just a bird in Daisy Dukes and a tank top with a fuck off big gun. Might have to see if I can find a poster of that. But clearly it comes to the people who made its absolute love of you know, all things sci-fi, and Schwarzenegger and Cameron, I guess, at the time. And yeah, it's gone down its history as being, you know, basically creating the run and gun, or polishing the run and gun genre. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have stuff like Gunstar Heroes and things. We wouldn't have every run and gun game. Now, there was a sequel called Super Contra, which was more than the same. Let this be a lesson to you people. If you're not going to wipe out the threat the first time round, chances are it's coming back. That was called Super C on the NES because of there being a game called Super Probotector, which was the UK European version of Contra, because you couldn't have people killing people then, because of Germany basically, and I believe legislation that kicked in after World War II, or when games first kicked in, but because of World War II. I don't know, this became a history lesson rather quickly, didn't it? So everyone's a robot, but as I've said in every gameplay of that, couldn't you argue that if you create sentient life with the ability to feel pain, then send out other sentient life also with the ability to kill pain, and tell them to kill each other, that's even worse. Sorry, just saying. And then obviously when the SNES Classic came out in this country, they just said bollocks to it and stuck on Contra 3, but I had Contra 3 anyway because I imported a Super Famicom when I was a kid, because I was cool and guff. Right, anyway, let's have a look at the box. It follows the standard template of a My Arcade box. You have a little synopsis of the game on the side. So it says game history. In the 2530s, is that 2630s, I believe, and the world is in grave danger. It's up to you to run, jump and shoot through a wide variety of stages to defeat the Red Falcon army. Contra first hit the screen in 1987 and immediately set the standard for future platform shooters with its two-player co-op mode and engaging gameplay. Foreign language. Then on the back you have a quick, you know, display of the features of the unit itself. You have full color screen, removable joystick, so you can play it with the D-pad as well as the joystick. Wouldn't recommend that because shit gets lost, doesn't it? Front facing speakers, that's good. Backlit marquee, that's good. Attention to detail, obviously the marquee. We know the screen's backlit, and the screen based on the Street Fighter one is actually really good on these. Illuminated coin trap. And then features artwork inspired by the original Contra arcade cabinet, so that would have been Greiser in this country, so I honestly don't know how accurate it is to it, but I'm guessing it's like a tribute band, but we'll have a look at that when we get it out of the box. Proprietary co-op verse technology for two micro players, for cooperative gameplay, perfect for any game room, office or display case. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your boss won't mind you playing this in the office. Can't see a problem with that. Volume control and 3.5mm headphone jack, powered by 4 AA batteries and not included, and also a micro USB charge cable not included. So you can run it off the mains, because I do have 4 AA's. They're brand new, they're Duracell, but it does, based on Street Fighter, does absolutely gobble batteries like a bastard. But yeah, you can use a micro USB cable, not included, but let's be fair, we've got millions of them, especially if you own as much knockoff Chinese chat as I do. But obviously, don't charge it with batteries in. On the side, we have 2 sprites from Contra. I don't know if it's actually from the game or it's like kind of a mock-up, but there's no denying, and you know, we've got forestry and, you know, greenery and shit like that going on, but there's no denying that the box is really nice, and it's got a hang tab, and there is some weight to this. I haven't opened this. I have cut the circular plastic tabs because they drive me nuts, and you got to get them off as soon as you get your hands on this, because they will warp the top of the box, which they have done ever so slightly, which you probably don't care about, but I plan on displaying this in the case, even though I will play it, and I like my shit to look, well, nice. Anyway, in the box we have, that annoys me, you had one mistake, you had one job, bloke at the office, one, can't talk, it's the heat, Indian summers. You had one job, bloke in the warehouse, one job, and you fucked it up. You done fucked it up. That annoys me. Here is your connection cable. I don't know how, you know, data is transferred, because I don't make shit, but it just looks like a headphone jack. And you have a Contra Micro Player Retro Arcade user guide. I say user guide, it looks like a big fat manual. That's because it covers every language in Europe. But all it actually tells you is, I mean, it's nice to have it, is, look, here's what does what on your cabinet. Here's how you unscrew a joystick, because obviously, you know, that shit's beyond people these days. Here's how you put batteries in, because, you know, boomers and that. And there should be a whole page dedicated to just writing the word patronising, but there isn't. But I guess that's probably a legal requirement. Now, if this was released last year, I don't recall the Street Fighter one being released last year, or maybe that's a territorial thing, and this was only released in UK or Europe these past few weeks. But it does appear on the flyer, which is also incredibly creased in the middle, which pisses me off. That probably doesn't piss you off as much, but I'm anal for shit like this. These are the other ones. These are the pocket players, and you can see there at the bottom that it does actually say Contra and Super Contra. So there cannot, this clearly does not say it anywhere on the box, nor does it say it on the back. So the fact that one includes a whole extra game and the other one doesn't, I find, wow, that's a bit poor. The date on this is 2020, but these are all the cabinets you can get as well, broken down to the company that makes them. These ones up here are all NES on a chip, as are those, but we don't know what the final one is, and these are all arcade ROMs. But really, you can't put the second game, Super Contra, on this, because this, I believe, is not this. I only picked this up to show you, you know, because let's be honest, if you were serious about, as I've said, you were serious about playing Contra properly to beat it, you would be playing it in this sort of handheld fashion, and the handheld version of the can be, or Contra can be connected. But I also believe that it's actually cheaper than this, so that might be an Amazon thing. If there's someone out there who can correct me on this shit, but if this hasn't got Super Contra on, that's a bit of a poor show. That's not me being ungrateful, but for the difference in the price, but again, that might just be, I mean, that's actual Amazon selling it and not private sellers. Your chains may vary, you may be able to get it cheaper than that on Amazon or in other places. I don't know if they sell direct from their website, but I've never seen these in the high street. It's got a decent amount of weight. You can immediately tell it's the arcade ROM, and the handheld version, you know, the one of these that it had the same screen, because it's taller than it is wider, which was what the original Contra arcade machine was. You have your marquee at the top. You have very simple artwork on the sides. I doubt that's what the arcade was, but then, oh look, but he is smoking. So the PC and health, health and safety brigade didn't get to it. Said you can't put that on the side of the cabinet because kids might start smoking because shit. They just said bollocks to it. He's having a fag. Let's stick it on the side of the box. So I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm guessing it's like a tribute band. And then you have a reset. You have a coin. You have an on-off, which is your coin trap. And then you have a jump, a shoot, a start, and a D-pad with a joystick. So it's labelled the buttons, which I do like. Obviously, it wouldn't take you much to work out what they were. Your headphone rocker is at the top. I do like that. That's kind of cool. And the headphone jack is in the middle. I'm not sure of the practicality of that. I would have preferred it to be to the side, but that's just a moot point. And then you have your micro USB charge there, and then that's for your head-to-head connection. You have no screwdriver. Won't be needing you bad boys. That pleases me greatly. You put your 4 AA's in. If you're having trouble with that, consult the manual. I know it's an incredibly difficult and taxing thing to do. I will try and capture some footage using my trusty camcorder. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Which did turn out alright for Street Fighter. So there we go. Put that in. Bang that on. I guess we just look to see if we've got an options button, which is what Street Fighter had, and you had a drop-down menu for me to select another game. We have a screen protector. I do keep these. They are applicable. They're like those big, thick bubble stickers you used to get in breakfast cereal boxes. You know, when they can actually give you free shit with your breakfast cereal. That you would stick on the back, but then can be removed and put somewhere else. At least that's what they remind me of. So, marquee lights up. Comes up with My Arcade. Let's see if I can get that without glare on it. It should come up with an option screen. Comes up with single player, player 1, player 2. Players player 1, play as player 2. With single player, press reset. No, we'll press single player, start. Then it gives you a little display of the arcade unit, which is nice. Press coin button to add credits. Try and not get glare on there, Dave. I'll try and talk in some sort of form of English. Oh, hang on. Volume rocker. So there you go. It's Contra. There appears to be... that screen looks really nice. That screen looks really, really nice. I'm going to press reset, and then I'm going to go to player 1 and press start. And insert coins. Same screen there. But it's looking like... there is no Super Contra. That's shocking. That there is a difference between the handheld unit and the micro arcade unit or mini arcade unit. That's maybe I'm missing a trick. If anyone knows why that is, by all means let me know. Was this like I don't know, we got stipped in PAL territories or European territories? But I'm quite surprised at that. I am quite surprised at that. I'm going to have a quick go and just describe it to you in the standard traditional holding an arcade cabinet between your knees gameplay mode, and see what it plays like for me. Money. Wow, only no Super Contra. I might have to buy the other one myself, just because my OCD is going to go off the charts. Right, there's no screen tearing. There's no slowdown as such yet. And amazingly, I'm still alive. Oh, no, that's the press start flickering at the top right hand corner of the screen, and I'm dead. Seems to be absolutely bang on. I don't know if this is an easier game. I would have thought this is a lot easier game to emulate than Street Fighter. I tell you what, possibly playing it with a joystick is not the future. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it into the other room and see if I can capture some footage for you of me actually playing it, otherwise known as me sucking. Right, because of the angle of the screen and the fact that the camera has to be looking down at this, let me show you the setup I've had to use to capture this. I don't know what it was. The Street Fighter one was far easier. Anyway, I'll insert a picture. Anyway, let's get into it. We put some money in. Because I'm rich. Start. Now, first things first, the screen looks absolutely fine. The top right hand corner where it says press start seems to be going absolutely batshit crazy, but everything within the confines of the screen appears to be alright. The screen itself is absolutely lovely. Bollocks, I didn't want the laser. Even when I'm playing on a small screen like this, I still make... Oh no, it's got the spread. Usual mistakes. Oh, is he still in there? There we go, that's what I wanted to do. Down. The music appears to be absolutely fine. I really can't hear any problems with the music. That up here is annoying me. But actual, as like screen tearing, slow down, stuff like that, appears to be absolutely bang on. Oh, keep the spread. All about the spread. I read somewhere the other day, I watched a video where someone said everyone was wrong on the spread. It was all about the laser. Controversial. Oh, but yeah, now, there is an elephant in the room that I will get to, which is the control. But I'll mention more of the control once I go to the other room and I round up. But that will make sense more if I talk about it not in a gaming capacity, if you know what I mean, because it was to be expected it would have these problems. I love the fact that, it's the 80s. We'll put, obviously, whatever is the main weakness of our base, we'll stick on the outside. Is he dead? There we go, waving at your defences. So yeah, the controls aren't... The control input, I mean, they're reasonably tight. They aren't terrible, but based on what this game is, again, it will make sense when I mention that outside. But anyway, also I love this about Contra. They mixed it up with stuff like this. I mean, in Super Contra it was top down, wasn't it? And then they took that to whole... Oh, I'm getting electrocuted. Either that or I'm going back in time. See what I did there? And they took it to a whole new level, didn't they, in Contra 3? They had that rotation thing, which I wasn't a massive fan of. But... Oh, sorry, your defences are down. Yeah, sounds absolutely fine. I mean, it helps that the speakers are on the front. Ooh. Shit. Again, excuses, but I can't see what I'm trying to dodge because I'm looking through the view display of a camcorder. Excuses, I'm sticking to them. What am I supposed to be shooting? Oh, that. My bad. Should have got my reading glasses. Never go to war without your reading glasses. Especially when you're playing on a 2.5-inch screen. Yoink. Yeah, so again, briefly, the controls aren't bad. The input's not terrible, but there is an inherent flaw with the fact that this is Contra. I'm not being negative, honestly. It all makes sense. You can probably guess it if you know what the input is. Shies and balls. How many continues have I got? Not enough, apparently. Oh, come on. There we go. Ah! I thought it was dead. I keep jumping when I don't have to jump and ducking when I don't have to duck. And bosses. Oh shit, this isn't going to happen. But yeah, at the end, we'll have one more quick go, but I'm not noticing any problems with the screen whatsoever. I'm not noticing any problems with the sound whatsoever. I mean, there were slight issues with Street Fighter, but then... Oh! This is a far less intense game to emulate than Street Fighter. Or maybe it isn't, and I don't know diddly squat about old school games. I'm in the drink, watch out for those leeches. Oh, sorry for the moving screen. And my big fat khaki thumbs in the viewfinder. And let's just move it a little bit then. Shies and balls. Yeah, so from a quality perspective, oh shit balls, I'm actually quite impressed. Then I've always been reasonably impressed with even the cheap NES versions of these, to be fair. Here we go. Knock knock. Let's see if I can remember shit this time. No! Again, I can't see the bullets. Maybe that's why they give you a full medical before you go in the armed forces. So you can see what kills you. Or not. Right, well, there you go. Let's jump to the other room and round up. And what I was struggling to kind of hint at with the controls will hopefully make a bit more sense. Right, so Contra, my arcade mini cabinets. What do I think? Right, I could spot absolutely no issues with how it played, the speed, slowdown, screen tearing or anything like that, and the music sounded absolutely bang on to me. Now, when I said elephant in the room, it's not the sort of game that if you want to progress. I mean, I always say these cabinets, it's display purpose over actual physical comfortable form factor, but it's the form factor of it being a display piece is why I like these, because they look fantastic on your shelf, and I like the fact that you can build up a mini arcade. You know, not just a collection, but physically display as a mini arcade. But you are not getting very far with Contra playing it like that. And also, if you took that out and played it with a D-pad like that, you're still not going to get very far on Contra. I'm sure there's a bunch of diver people out there who are just screaming at the screen now and saying, I could. You will want this one. I'm going to say, if you're buying this not to display it, which be perfectly honest is what I would get this for if I pay for it myself. I would get this for display purposes. You know, maybe have it running in the background when people are over. But if you're buying it to play it, well, first of all, there's far better ways and far cheaper ways to play it on systems you already own. But if you're buying it to play it, you probably want to get the equivalent version of one of these. Not only because they are cheaper than this and probably better to play it than this, but it gives you a whole other game. I cannot believe that Super Contra is not on here. Before I turned the camera back on, I just went over it and over it and over it and over it, and there is no option screen to select Super Contra on here. So that's an absolute fail point. The fact that they would not align these systems, I have to say, does annoy me slightly. It would annoy me a lot more if I had paid for it. I'm not being ungrateful, that's just the point. So be aware, if you're buying it to play it, then buy the handheld one. And if you're buying it because you want both games, certainly buy the handheld one. If you're buying it for better value money, buy that one. If you're buying it as a niche little display purpose unit for like a mini little arcade to have in the background on your shelves or out of the boxes running just for a little bit of, you know, I don't know, you're having a party or something like that, then by all means get this. It's what you want from the unit, because let's be honest, both of them, even though I would recommend the other one, both of them aren't, you know, if you're serious about playing Contra, you're going to play it other ways. But yeah, it runs absolutely fine, it sounds fine. I like the fact that the aspect ratio on the screen is correct. I like the fact that the speakers are on the front. The build quality is really rather quite nice. I'm not going to lie, is it £70 nice? Certainly not. Is it £70 nice when it doesn't give you the whole other game? Definitely not. That is a massive fail for me. Doesn't mean I don't like the unit. I do like the unit. It's very good at what it does. It just feels like it's doing 50% less than what it should be doing. Even before you take into the controls. But then the controls on this is a personal choice, isn't it? Like I said, form over function and stuff like that. Anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you have this and in some other country, in some other alternative dimension, Super Contra is on here. But, as always, thank you very much for watching. I'd love to know what you think. I'll see you later.